today let's start with chapter number 5, that is Revolt of 1857. So in the previous chapter we explored the policy of British East India Company that profoundly impacted the life of every individual. जिसमें आपके monarch हो गए, sepoys हो गए, peasants हो गए, and these policies often contrary to their rights and led to increasing resistance against the British rule. Right now, decline of Nawabs and Rajas. So we can say that Nawabs and Rajas began experience decline in the prestige and authority from the 18th century. British residents were appointed in several princely states, diminishing the autonomy of the ruler. And these local rulers was disallowed for maintaining their own armies, and many of them lost their kingdoms. And we can say some monarch and queens tried negotiating with the East India Company. Rani of Jhansi sought recognition. Right, and her adopted son and the higher Nana Sahib adopted the son of Peshwa Bajirao II and receives the father's pension as his legal heir. Right, we can say that annexation of Awadh in 1856 marked the final territorial acquisition of the company, and they imposed the subsidiary alliance. So in 1849, Governor General Dalhousie announced the removal of the successor of Bahadur Shah Zafar from the Revolt, and subsequently, Governor General they declared Bahadur Shah Zafar would be the last king, right? And the plight of peasants and sepoys. So in the rural areas, peasants and zamindars bore the brunt of heavy taxes. Many rents were unable to repay loans and money lender. बहुत बार क्या होता था कि वो लोन रीपे नहीं कर पाते थे मनी लेंडर्स को, and we crowed into sundering ownership rights on their land. So Indian sepoys who were integral part of the British army were of discontent with their salary allowances and working conditions. So during those time, what happens? Prevailing fear of crossing the seas was, I believe, the result in loss of one religion. So we can say that in 1856, mandating that all the recruits to the army was disabled, and the sepoy were incensed by the behavior of the British in the rural area. And what happened? Many of them had families in villages, and Azad moved to stop the British misconduct spread. So responses to British reform during 1800, British rule in India began to make changes. ये चेंजेस चाहते थे सोसाइटी में, सती को बैन करना चाहते थे, प्रैक्टिस ऑफ सती को इंकरेज करना चाहते थे, विडो रीमैरिज को, एंड आफ्टर 1830 इट बिकम इजियर फॉर द क्रिश्चियन मिशनरी टू ओन लैंड इन इंडिया. So in 1850 we can say that a new law was passed along to convert Christianity to inherit their ancestral property. और जो changes थे they made India one. They feared that the British company government was trying to destroy their religion. वो किसमें convert करना चाहते थे? Christianity. Now from mutiny to rebel. By the end of the 1856, the stage was set for a big uprising against them. Immediate cause of the revolt was an incident involving grease cartilage. So in January 1857, a rumor spread among the soldiers and Bengal regiment that the cartilages were given were greased. वो कैसे थे? Greased. From Meerut to Delhi, revolt of 1857 began at Barakpur in Bengal on March 28, 1857. जो सोल्जर थे इनका नेम था मंगल पांडे. ही रिफ्यूज टू कैरी कार्टिलेज क्योंकि वो काउ मतलब एनिमल फैट की बनी हुई, तो वो अगेन द रीजन सेंटिमेंट थी. कैप्चर्ड एंड हैंग ऑन April 8, 1857. Few days later, what happened? Some soldiers in Meerut refused to use the cartilage. 85 sepoys जो थे, they were dismissed from the service on May 9 and 1857, and they were sentenced to 10-year jail in disobeying their officers. So on May 10, these soldiers marched to the Meerut jail, released the imprisoned sepoy, and attacked and killed British officers. They declared war against the British, and then they made their way to Delhi, when they were joined by the Delhi regiment. Right? So what happened? They reached the gates of the Red Fort and declared Bahadur Shah Zafar II as their leader. Old Mughal emperor was unsure, but he eventually accepted the leadership, wrote the letters of various king and queens. Now joining the rebel sepoys, they were the prominent figure such as Rani Lakshmi Bai, Tantia Tope, who served as a journal of Nana Sahib against the British. Rani Avanti Lodhi, right? Then we have Ahmadullah Shah, Maulavi from Faizabad, who garnered substantial support in Lucknow. Bakht Khan, a soldier from Bareilly. Company fights back. The British India Company was determined to quell the rebellion completely. Right? In September 1857, उन्होंने क्या करा? They recaptured Delhi, the last Mughal emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar, and taken captive, and his son was tragically killed. So we can say that they subsequently exiled to Rangoon along with his wife Jinnat Mahal, and where he passed away in 1862, and they were nearly 2 years to fully suppress. March 1858 saw recapture of Lucknow, where Rani Lakshmi Bai met in defeat. In June 1858, on June 20, Tanjore Tope, he departed from Gwalior and fleeing to the south and captured by the British, and he met a fate on April 1859. After successfully suppressing the revolt, British government offered rewards to loyal landowners who retained their traditional right over the land. Okay? Then after changes after 1857. So what happened? The year 1857 was a significant turning point in the history of India. Right? The first major change was the end of rule of East India Company. India became directly under the British Crown, the person in charge of Governor General. Right? And some of the Indian rulers who had lost their territory during the revolt were given them back. But there was a condition, and they had accepted British authority and remained loyal to the British Crown. The British increased the number of European soldiers and reduced number of Indian soldiers. An important position. This was a way to keep closer watch to the army. The British recruited more soldiers from the places, while Gurkhas, Pathars and Sikhs, while they decreased number of soldiers from regions that had rebelled during the revolt. The British started a policy called divide and rule. They tried to create division among the Indian people. ठीक है, और वो किसको blame कर रहे थे? Muslims. So the British decided to stop interfering the Indians' custom and tradition. They did this to avoid angering and the rights of जमींदार, जो landlords थे, they were protected. ठीक है, उनको क्या करा? Protect करा. Right? This is all about in this chapter. Hope you understood. Now we will meet in next class. Thank you.